Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is the Affiliate Party Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of different topics. But first, today I didn't realize today was September the 11th, 9/11. September the 1st, September the 11th. 2001, of course, we all know what happened. Planes went into the World Trade Building and everything. And everybody has like a 9/11 story they could tell. You like, and of course, if you're old enough, you're like, where was I at, and everything like that. And man, I gotta tell you, 9/11 was. I remember I was going to medical because the next month I was scheduled to get out of the military, So I was in medical. I was over there getting my paperwork situated, and I remember I was in California, and California is, 3 hours away, 3 hours of time, so. And then they was like, saw the TV, and it's like a plane crashed into the World Trade Building, and it's like, oh, that's weird. And then I just remember they was like, everybody right now, go back to your boat. And we all had to go back to our boat. And basically, that was like one of the longest days we had, because we worked from when I got back, we worked until like 10 o'clock. And I think by then they had a press conference. I remember President Bush had like a press conference, and we all sat around, and we didn't know what was going on, and people had to call. I had to call my mom, not that day, but like the next day, and I'm like, well, we might be leaving, so, because we were scheduled to go out like the next month, but then it was like, we're gonna try to get you out now, but we didn't have enough time to get everything back in order, because we broke a lot of things down on the boat. I was on the USS John Young DD-973. So we didn't have a lot of time to get the stuff back together, So we didn't go right then and there. But I remember it was like one of the most. I was 22, so I didn't have any. I didn't have a wife. Of course I had my parents, but I didn't have like any like children or a wife or anything like that. So I was just like, oh, okay, well, if we go, we go. But I just remember I was like, man, I've never had such unknown, like an unknown situation in my life. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling, but it's something else, man. And every year, of course, it's like 9/11, and I just remember as a country, we all came together during that time, because it was a very rough time. We all came together, and you wish you could put that in a bottle, and you wish it would have stayed that way. But of course, I guess the world wasn't ready for that. I guess for us to all be, we was one race for about a month. We was one race, the human race. You know what I mean? So, I know tragedy is very tragic, but at the same time, it was beautiful to see different stories and people coming together, and I just remember when I got home after the next month, I got out of the Navy, and I remember the baseball playoffs, and the Yankees, they were in the playoffs, and they played the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it was just the whole, like America coming back and everything like that. And so, I don't know. I just remember the unknown, and it's like, of course, now I'm not going to correlate 9/11 to, running a business or anything like that, but it's only twice in my life that I've had the unknown. That, 9/11, that was real unknown, because, you just pick up the phone, everybody, it was like people that had kids, people that was on leave, everybody had to come back. Everybody, they was making like special, they was like, drive back. It was like rent a car. They was giving free rental cars to people in the well, I know people that I was on the boat with. They was like, we'll get you a rental car, we'll get you back. and we got to come back. Everybody has to come back, and I remember it was a big, it was just the unknown. So, but I didn't have a lot of fear, but it was just the unknown. But when it comes to business, I'm not gonna. But when it comes to business, this is the unknown. You know what I mean? So don't. Sometimes the unknown is bad, like 9/11, and sometimes the unknown is not so bad, like around the business. I can't really correlate that shit to a business, so I just wanted to share my 9/11 story about how it was, fear, the unknown, just a lot of different things go running through your body, and it's just like you don't know what's going on, but I always, every year I think about it, sometimes my shipmate, he'll call and he'll say, today's 9/11, and I go, yeah, today's 9/11, and we talk about the boat a little bit. That's probably about the only time I do talk about me being in the service, This probably be the last time that I go for 6-7 minutes discussing my my time in the Navy. I really don't discuss that. My wife gets annoyed with me, but it is what it is. It was a special time in my life, but you move on from different things. But yeah. So if you have a 9/11 story you want to share, you can always email me. I would like to hear it. I like to hear people's different perspectives. But anyway. That's it. Not the end of the podcast, but the end of the 9/11 story. 9/11. Rest in peace to the people that died, And yeah, hopefully we never have to, Hopefully the country can come together like that forever. I mean, I know of course it ain't gonna happen just because, but it was a weird time, but it was also a very loving time, a very moving time in this country. But now we are definitely the polar opposite of that these days. All right. But anyway, we're going to talk about a couple more things in the podcast. I just wanted to share that 9/11 story with you. Well, that wasn't a 9/11 story. It was just me talking to you about the unknown and the fear that I had. And I can't really, sometimes when I talk about different subjects, I'll talk to you now. Just right now, sometimes when you do these podcasts, and you think about different things, and you're like, how can I, like yesterday I talked about my parents and their gambling and being consistent because they're consistently gambling. So, and today I didn't even think about the 9/11 until, I started driving, and then I picked up a trailer and it had a flag on it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I was like, look at that. And then I thought about 9/11, and I said, oh, it's 9/11, and it just gave me a thought. I thought about how scared I was, and I was like, not scared, but it's just like, oh. Because, they was like, you're going straight from San Diego to the Middle East. And it's like, wow. I'm a kid that grew up in a small town, 3,000 people, and now I'm about to float, like, I don't know how many miles, 3 million miles to the Middle East, straight from San Diego, no stopping, no nothing, just go straight to the Middle East and sit on the boat for like 6 months or however long, I was like, oh shit. And I was just a month away from getting out, and I was like, oh shit. But anyway, I could go on and on, but yeah, like I was saying, sometimes you could tie all that stuff into it, but I don't want to cheapen, I don't want to cheapen the 9/11. It's a very special day, It's a day to honor the people. It's a day to remember people, remember your loved one. And man, especially after this year, 2020, crazy that it is. I mean, I've lost, I had a cousin, he got murdered, and my best man at my wedding, he died. I mean, sometimes you just wrap your arms around people, and no matter, you just say, hey, I just want to tell you I love you. You call them up or whatever, because I know people probably told you this before, but tomorrow's not promised. I always live in the present. I live in the moment. I live, I don't do a lot of, trying to do a lot of, I was on the phone with my mom today, and we was talking about reflected, and she was talking about how I have an uncle, and I'm very chatty today, I'm sorry, but no, I don't apologize. This is the podcast, but I have an uncle, he's a alcoholic, and he harps on everything that has happened in the past, and I'm like, why is he always talking about the past? He talks about things that happened to him when he's like 18, and he's a 50-something-year-old man. It's like, Jesus, get over yourself, Like, of course, 9/11 is something that you're never gonna forget about, especially if you was like, if you had something to do with it, if you was involved, like I was in the military, of course I didn't lose any loved ones because my family's in the middle of, Missouri and everything, but it's just like I was in the military, and it was a big deal, Of course, it was a big deal because we are the we are the military, so we are the people that protect and serve the country as a whole, So it it affected me. But my uncle, he harps on the past so much, and it's like, why are you always living in the past, So that's one thing, That's one thing if you job, if you want to start a business, of course, that's why you listen to this podcast. You want to start a business, don't really harp on, what happened, the failures in your life and all that kind of stuff, just, screw all that, man, and just keep going, just move forward, live for the day, live in the moment, live in the present, figure it all out, and then it'll be all right, But anyway, I've talked long enough about 9/11 and the unknown and fear and all that stuff for now. So listen to this commercial about Anchor, and we'll be back with the next segment. We'll lighten up the mood, huh? All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about you being a public figure and you saying things that are controversial. Now, before we get into that, I just want to say this again. I'll probably say this 100 times. I'll probably say it 100 more. Don't be a copycat. I saw a video yesterday. A guy, he called out this other guy. Said this guy, and the video was word for word. A girl made a video, and it was pretty popular. It had like 700,000 views. However many views it had. Of course, some guy came along, saw the video. I guess he must have wrote word for word what she said, because word for word he was saying the same thing, and that is ridiculous. Listen, we all have our own thoughts. We all have our own interpretations of things. Yes, is it okay to see a video and go, "Oh, I should do that for my channel, for my podcast"? Of course. Just like if you want to do a video for a program, say if you use a product and you want to make a video about it, of course, make a video about it. A lot of people do that. That's not a big deal. That's not copying, because people do those videos. Those videos are popular, and that's a pretty good way of getting affiliate, because you go, hey, just click on the link right here. If you like this product, like I like this product, click on the affiliate link or whatever, nothing wrong with that. A lot of people do that. That's not a big deal. But if you see a video and you go word for word, that's ridiculous. That's just lazy. Don't be lazy. It's okay to be inspired. It's okay to see somebody's video and go, hey, but I watched this video and I go, oh, geez. I said, come on, man. The guy, but it's just like, do you want to be because how are you going to sustain this? If you want the business to go on and on and on, how are you going to sustain that if you're copying everybody? It's I don't know, man. To me, it's just in my personal opinion, tacky. You're a loser. To me, you're a loser. But whatever. Now, today we're going to talk we're going to talk about controversy. One time, I used to watch wrestling. I used to watch a lot of wrestling. So, a guy named Eric Bischoff, I don't know if you know him or not, but anyway, look him up. he wrote a book called Controversy Creates Cash, something like that. So he did a very controversial. He used to do very controversial things to get his wrestling promotion off the ground. Now, not off the ground, but to get him kickstarted. You know. Now Eric Bischoff, he's the president of WCW World Championship Wrestling back in the day, and WCW, the product was good. The wrestling was good, but the ratings, the ticket sales, they were all lagging behind the WWE. Well, the WWF at the time. WWF was number one. WWF, they had, in the 80s, they had Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, all these people, Junkyard Dog, JYD, and all these people. So WWE, now was WWF's wrestling better than WCW's? No. But what they did better was marketing. They was more organized. They had better marketing, better strategies when it comes to the marketing. So they was always the leader, and WCW was behind. So Eric Bischoff, he come along. He became president, and they had signed Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, he came over there, and Hulk Hogan, who was still doing the same thing he did at WWF. He was the same old stale wrestler guy. He was wearing the red, white, and blue. Or not red, white, and blue, but the red and yellow. And after a while, people my age at that time, with Hulk Hogan, I was like 15, 16, and Hulk Hogan wearing that shit when I was 15 and 16, I was like, man, Hulk Hogan, he lame, But when I was 8 or 9, man, you couldn't tell me. I was like, Hulk Hogan, Now I'm saying all this before Hulk Hogan, I found out he was a racist, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, when I was 8 or 9, Hulk Hogan, I thought he was cool. When I was 15, 16, I was like, man, Hulk Hogan, he's kind of a cornball, Who the hell wants to wear that bright yellow and red, So then Eric Bischoff, they all got together and they signed a couple more guys, and they did this thing where they made it seem like people were invading the company, and it took off. Boom. Very controversial angle. It was so controversial that the WWF sued them and said, hey, tell these guys that they're not working for the WWF. That's how controversial it was. But, so this guy, Eric Bischoff, he ran with that. They took off. They became number one. And he started doing things like, he basically got on the air and he started saying how he would whoop Vince McMahon, and how he would give the finishes for the matches and everything like that, So he would give these finishes for the matches. All this was controversial, And for like 2 years, they were number one, Now, it didn't stick, but of course, but for 2 years, that's a long run. They was the number one wrestling game in town. Well, ratings wise and everything like that. So, he was controversial. It paid off. Another controversial guy that Rush Limbaugh, Rush Limbaugh has made all his money just saying the most. Well, I've never listened to the guy's show, I'll be honest with you. Me and Rush Limbaugh, we're from the same neck of the woods. We're from Southeast Missouri. But I know his show, he goes the, he's like when Obama was in office, the more and more crazy things he say, the more and more attention he gets, for his radio show. I'm sure people enjoy his radio show, but he's not milk toast, you know what I mean? He says things that he knows is gonna get a rile out of people, Just like just like our president, he says things he knows he's gonna get free publicity, and all this kind of stuff. It's another guy I saw yesterday, Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless says some of the most. Skip Bayless is a guy. He's a journalist. Well, he was a journalist, I guess. Now he's just a TV pundit. But the sillier shit he says, the more people are like, I can't believe he said that. I'm gonna come back and watch tomorrow, So, and Skip Bayless gets $10 million for them shit opinions that he has, Like, he's always knocking LeBron James, but Fox is paying the guy $10 million, So, people love controversy. People love negative, The more, it's like the more negative you can get sometimes, the more people will come to you and be like, I want to hear what he has to say, So, now don't drive the negative. Don't be so negative all the time, because it won't help you anything, you can have an opinion. Sometimes your opinion can be, it's just like, if you go, if you have an opinion about church or something like that, and you state your opinion, I mean, it's not a bad thing, People think it's, some people, they're not, of course, some people are not going to like it, but, I mean, have an opinion, say it, have an opinion, You could be, it's okay to be negative sometimes. You don't want to be that way all the time, It's okay to get a rise out of people, get a, to get things, to get things, sometimes you have to shake things up, Sometimes you have to just, because Skip Bayless said this, he says this stuff, and I know this guy don't mean that. I mean, sometimes I'm like, this guy don't mean this shit, man, Like, he'll be like, LeBron James is like the 50th best player of all time, People are like, what? Hold on. And then these people the next day, this guy's like the headline of like 10 articles, and people will be talking about him, for like hours on end, It's only driving his stock up. You know what I mean? It's like, because people can't look away. People like car crashes. People love a car crash. That's why these people say these things sometimes, It's sort of like, I watched a guy, I used to read the paper, and there used to be this guy in there named, what was his name? He was African American. He was conservative. Larry Elder, yes, Larry Elder. Because most people think African Americans are gonna be what? They're gonna vote Democrat, So whenever you get people like Larry Elder or say Candace Owens, these people are going against the grain. They say controversial things amongst the the African American, the black community, and people are like, what? I can't believe they say that shit. Blah 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 blah. And then these people get more and more. They get more and more views, more and more clicks. More and more followers. Like these days, that's like if you think about it, that's like a marketing move. You don't say, hey, I'm voting for Joe Biden if you're an African American. If you say, oh no, I'm not voting for Joe Biden, I'm a conservative, I'm voting for Trump, I'm a black conservative, you get more and more views, more and more followers on Twitter, more and more, it's really something, you know what I mean? It's like, wow. And it's like, do these people believe this stuff? Who knows? I'm not in their head, you're not in their head, who the hell knows? But these people know, if they go against the grain, if they say something controversial, if they go, no, I'm a black conservative, I'm against whatever, blah, 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 then they get more likes, they get more views, they get more followers, they make more money, And I'm not saying you have to do this all the time, because you don't want to be that person. If that's not you, you don't want to be that person. But if you have an opinion and it's different, say it, let it out, don't hold it in, especially when it comes to business. If you think, the some things I say you think are crummy, that's okay. I don't care. If you want to go, if you have a podcast and you want to say, I listened to this guy today, he sounded like shit, and blah, 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 blah. You got a difference of opinion, it's fine, if 99 people are saying this and you're the one person that thinks this way, go with it, say it, People love controversy. People love negativity. People like the car crash. And sometimes because you don't have the same thoughts as everybody. So if you have a difference of opinion, use that difference of opinion. Drive more people to your, drive more people to your videos, drive more people to your podcast, It's okay to have a difference of opinion. It's okay to be controversial. It's okay, to have thoughts, your own thoughts. It's okay, You don't have to, if it's something you don't think people are gonna like, doesn't matter. You can say it. It's okay. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, man, It's perfectly fine. So, with that being said, that's it. Yeah, use your opinion. Hey, trust me, people love negativity. I got a family full of negative ass people. Trust me, they like being negative. They'll go with you. Like if you in the email, if you're real negative sometimes. I read this from Ben Settle. He wrote a. I get his newsletter every month. The guy Ben Settle, he has a newsletter. He talks about the negativity, and all the different articles he writes sometimes, and how it. And some people they're like, you're so negative, but they buy the stuff. They'll buy the product that he's selling. that he's promoting, or the book he wrote, or something like that, you know. So people like negativity. Oh yeah, it's like when Howard Stern he say, I got just as many people that like me listening to me as I do that hate me listening to me. So it's crazy. So don't be afraid to, don't be a copycat. You know, you could be inspired by people. That's okay. It's okay to be negative sometimes. You know, you want to be negative. You want to say, hey, this don't work. You know, something like that. It's okay to be controversial. It's okay. You know, this is a business. You're running a business, you know. So, that's it. That's it for today. This is a good, hearty podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Tony Rizzano. This is the Affiliate Party. This is the Affiliate Marketing Party podcast. And we will talk to you tomorrow. Oh yeah. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. With that being said, everybody, as always, peace. Oh yeah. Rewind that piece back. Go to thelousydriver.com. Sign up for the email list so I can start emailing you on a regular basis, all right? And then I'm going to email you. I'm going to email you about different stuff, all right? All right? So tell a friend to tell a friend. And as always, everybody, peace.